Hold up. Now started. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Nobody wants to talk.
You people should respond now.
Good evening, sir.
People on B today. Okay, so please, I will need you guys to be responding because my own class is usually, interactive. And today's exercise is not going to be one way class. So it's going to be 2 ways. And then I'll pose you a question. They will give me the command because I believe so far so good. The tutors have done a very great job telling you, teaching you some commands that we think will come in handy by the time we start bioinformatics proper. That said, the approach I'm going to be taking is that I'll pose a question and then you guys will give me the commands to run. So if you guys are not even responding now when I'm trying to even greet you, nobody except Victor responded. So please, otherwise we won't move at all because the plan I have coming into this class is that I'll pose a question, you give me the commands, and then we can all meet together and then we can all think and ponder about the commands we are all suggesting. So if you actually want to help me, I'm just pleading with you to just, whenever I ask the question, because we have a lot of things to cover. So whenever I ask the question, please, just make sure you respond on time so that we don't waste a lot of time, so that we don't dilly-dally on irrelevancies. So, yeah. Joseph started with the Unix data analysis yesterday. And what he showed us was just, a, should I call it a taster to what to expect in weeks to come. So that's basically, what he did was just an aspect of his analysis because, he's working on stuff. So the genome you guys, the genomes he was working with was just something he's doing currently. In fact, he has an abstract for what he was actually showing yesterday. So it's just part of his analysis. And one thing about the unit data analysis is that, well, it's going to be, it's not something that is generic. It's something that, that is bespoke. Something that, the kind of analysis you do depends on what you want to achieve. So by the time you are entering an analysis, you usually have an expectation in mind, and then you have to use what you have to get what you want. And part of what I mean by using what you have to get what you want is you have an expectation that, wow, I want to extract, because what Joseph, just citing this Joseph example yesterday, what he was trying to do was to be able to extract the black Z gene. So that was his expectation. And then, so he started using a lot of tools. Some people were complaining about indentation. Some people were complaining about, variables. So why do we need to invoke a lot of variables, things like that? So, and that's because, he has an expectation in mind. So he was trying to use what he has done so far, what he has at his disposal to achieve his expectation. And he was able to achieve that successfully. So today also, what we have are all of the commands that we've been taught so far. Our expectation today, I'm going to show you what we'll be working on. Then we are going to use all those tools. We might use everything exhaustively, but I doubt that. But we are going to cherry pick some tools that we think will be able to help us in order to achieve our objective, which is to actually solve the questions, the tasks that we'll be working with today. Like I said, my class is usually interactive. I like asking a question, and then I like it when students respond. So please, just do me a favor and respond. And then probably Toby will be the one calling. Please, Toby, I'm not sure whether you can actually do that for me. Calling people.
No problem, no problem.
We actually participate so that we're able to probably, single out people that are not actually getting things. So
No problem.
yes, so we are going to start now. So let me just share my screen. So I just have like 6 slides. So this is going to be very, very fast and possible. So, I mean, just like I said, you can just see this as a continuation of, a continuation of Joseph's class yesterday. So Joseph did something, and today we have another task that we are going to be solving. And the task we have at hand is quite different from what Joseph did yesterday. And the tools we'll be using is not entirely, identical to what Joseph did yesterday, which further, reinforce the fact that what you have, your goal will determine, the approaches that you take in Unix data analysis. So, we don't have something generic. Whatever you are doing is going to be tailored to your objectives, to your goal, to your question. It's going to be bespoke. So, yeah. So the data set we are going to be working here, I'm going to like show you. So, but just a little bit of, of a background. So I'm like with this slide, I'm just trying to like set up the stage for what we'll be doing so that you will actually have like a very good background of the kind of analysis we want to do. So this is a data set. The data set we are going to be working with is an RNA-seq data set. RNA-seq data sets, I'm not sure whether you guys have heard of RNA-seq. So just like you guys can actually sequence, when we talk, most of the time, we're always talking about DNA. But DNA is not the only thing that we can find in a cell. We can also find RNA, albeit these RNA, they are usually transient. Their span, their lifespan is usually very short. So because they are very, very unstable, so they degrade very fast. And they are prone to errors. So they degrade very fast, they are unstable. So, but still, despite all of those, is it they call it disadvantage, limitations of RNA. Scientists have still managed, they've devised a way to be able to like still capture it and then use it to actually derive insights, biological insights. So the data set that you get from RNA expression experiment, so it's called RNA-seq stuff. So RNA-seq is just you trying to like sequence your RNA. So we call it from the name, ribonucleic acid sequence. So it is just you sequencing your RNA. And there are reasons, there are lots of reasons why you might actually want to sequence RNA. Number one, if you want to measure upregulation of genes. There are some genes that are, you guys should have been taught differential gene expression. So despite the fact that you have a gene, so we have genes, but sometimes some genes can be expressed, sometimes they might be turned on, sometimes they might be turned off. So when the gene is turned on, it's going to be expressed, and if it is turned off, it's going to be repressed. And genes that are also turned on, also, their expression, the level of expression also differs. So despite the fact that a gene is turned on, so the expression of that particular gene might be high, it might be low. So what RNA-seq is just trying to like do is trying to like measure expressed genes and also their level of expression. Those are the two aims of RNA-seq experiments. You want to see what is expressed. You also want to see the level of expression. I'm not sure whether you guys understand what RNA-seq is. So the data set we are working with is just the data sets that contain information about RNA-seq experiments. When you capture your RNA, you sequence it, you measure it, and then compare it against probably a standard or a control just to see do we have a differential. So that's when the name differential gene expression comes to play. So this particular time, differential gene expression. So sorry. So this particular one, I'm not sure whether you can see my cursor. So that's actually what we are working with. And then, we have some columns to actually expect. So the data you get is going to be tabular, it's going to be in tabular format after your analysis. And then it's going to contain these particular fields or columns. So the ENS gene, which contain the ensemble gene ID. So it's just like probably ensemble is, I think, EMBU. If it goes to EBI, European Bioinformatics Institute units. So, we have NCBI, we have three major databases rather. We have the DDBJ from Japan, we have the NCBI from America, and we have EMBU, EBI from Europe. These are the should I call it, the the shall capture, I mean, the massive databases. I mean, anything that has to do with biological data sets, you can find it. I mean, you can find all of this data in this particular databases. I mean, the three ones, the EMBU. So I think this particular gen ID. So, but because for every entry in all of those databases, I mean, you have to like attach a unique identifier. So for that particular, I mean, for a particular gene, so the ENS gene is just the ensemble gene ID. So you will see this column in the data set we'll be working with. The symbol, I mean, the name of the symbol, I mean, the symbol for the gene, you will also see it in the column. The base mean, so this one is just trying to like calculate the average normalized gene expression. So you don't need to like probably bother yourself about what all of these things are doing, but channel that will be working with our data sets. So we'll be manipulating and then doing some things. These are the columns you should expect. You should expect like information about the base mean, the log2 fold change, this one, and it's the standard error of the log2 expression, the stats, the p value, and the p adjusted value. So I mean, so these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are the 8 fields that we are going to see in the data set. Will be torturing. So I mean, we are going to torture the data sets a lot. So yeah. And I'm going to send this slide after the class. So, but this is the link to the dataset we are going to be working with. So somebody has done an experiment and has done a great job to actually put that dataset on a public repository like out there for anybody to actually download. So that means we don't need to actually go into the lab and then start RNA-seq experiments from the scratch. We don't have to do that. Somebody has done that for us. So we can just probably, I mean, leapfrog and then, I mean, piggyback on what somebody has done. So instead of probably reinventing the wheel and starting everything afresh, so we just take this particular data set that somebody has done, and then we are going to use it to do some analysis, just probably some data exploration actually. So I don't think I should call it a data analysis stuff. We are going to explore the data sets. We are going to torture it. But I'm not going to be doing it alone. We are going to be doing it together. The bioinfo UI squad, the bioinfo UI family. So here is the task. So given the background, you know, I've done a great job to set up the stage. So now the task before us, before me and you, is this. So given the file, so I mean, data.csv. So the data set we are going to be working with is CSV in CSV format. So containing gene expression results with columns including ID, gene, p value, p. So okay, we are not writing a script, just I mean, although I won't be writing a script here, you guys will be the one writing the script. Then I think by the time we are actually done doing it, you should be able to like write a probably just 5 lines of codes of scripts just to be able to like do everything. Just a one-liner should be able to like do it actually. So if there is time, we might actually write a script together. If there is no time, I'm going to pass on the button to you for you to write the script yourself. And then if you have any question, because if you don't get your hands dirty, the thing is you won't actually learn. That was what we figured out in the last cohorts. The people that are now part of the last cohorts, I mean, their confidence on the command line skyrocketed when we actually started giving them mad exercise to actually solve. So although, I mean, they encountered some challenges initially, but they were able to like overcome it. And as they kept, I mean, getting the problem solved, because what we just did is we went to like recreate an entire pipeline. So they were able to like recreate the entire pipeline. So by time, and the pipeline actually like involved you doing like probably up to like 13 or 15 analysis, different analysis. It was so lengthy. So they recreated everything from the scratch, like right from assembly to all the things that you could do. They did it right from the scratch. They struggled at first, but with each, I mean, success, their confidence started, I mean, skyrocketing. But now ask them now. So most of them are actually like even undertaking a project. a bioinformatics project as their undergraduate projects with minimal supervision. Their main supervisor in the departments does not even have a bioinformatics experience. And they hardly even come to me or to any of us that, okay, I run into an issue. So, I mean, can you help me to figure it out? Even if they even ask, I don't need to like probably sit with them. Can just even figure it out on the call, and then they will be able to like pick and then execute. So that's actually what we want to do. Although initially we might actually struggle with this bash scripting stuff, but with time, by the time you start getting your aesthetic, you will see that your confidence will start increasing. That this thing is not even that difficult. But like I said, we are going to start little by little, but from probably 5 line of script to 15 line of script, small, we'll start building small. And you actually see that this thing is actually not difficult. It's actually not difficult. And the reason why it's not even that difficult is we now have ChatGPT. So even if you run into any issue, just give to ChatGPT for you. So far, you know how to like inherit the code. So that's actually what matters. So I mean, you're going to like probably be a bash scripting expert. In fact, most of these days, people are just doing 5 scripting. In fact, like I don't even, it's not probably I know a lot of probably or a lot of bash, but I can read a bash script. I can read it. So what I'm just doing is just vibe coding. I just vibe code, ChatGPT do this thing, read it, modify it, then make it run. So this is what we are going to like do. Like I said, we have this task. Select a script, clean the data and convert to a tab delimited file. You know, like I said, we have CSV file. So we are going to be downloading the data first because I mean the data is not located on our computer. It's actually located, it's sitting in a remote repository somewhere online. It's online. So we have to fetch it and download it onto our local computer for us to be able to like manipulate. Otherwise, we won't have any data to work with. So we are going to like do that, convert it to a tab delimited format. We are going to sort the column based on either the p-value column or the p-address column in ascending order. We are going to select the columns that we want because we just feel like probably we don't actually need all the columns. And then, I mean, we are going to cherry pick the one that we want and then store it in another, put it in another file for us to be able to like, query, interpret, or for done some analysis. We are just going to like do anything that can be done. Like I said, we are not going to like do this thing together. We are going to like torture this task together. And then you start saying how you can start combining each of these individual tools that are sitting, that you think probably they don't make any sense. So by the time you start putting them together, you can actually see that, well, you can actually combine these different tools. So something meaningful in order for you to achieve your objective. Like I said, I mean, our expectations. So we have to use what we have to get what we want. In fact, that's the philosophy I actually use. I take to life. Whenever I'm in a setting, I'm in anywhere, my philosophy is always use what you have to get what you want. So what do we have? We have this, all of these different tools. And then our objective, which is all of this task, is what we want to achieve. Now, we need to get started. But please, do we understand the background before we start? So, do we understand the background? Just 3 people. Okay. If there's 3 people I have on the call, I would rather not continue this game. So, please, like I said,
I think they understand.
yeah, okay. So please, my own class, so because I won't lie to you, I get confused easily. So I like when my class is actually very interactive. So I'm not just the type of guy that will start say, okay, I'll just start saying, saying things, blah, 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 blah. No, we are going to get our hands dirty together. We are in this together. Like, yeah. So I'm going to go to my terminal. So let's go. So I actually have 2 terminals. I have one that came pre-installed with my MacBook. Then I installed another one called Lighter. I don't even know the one. So I'm going to increase. So the first thing I have to do is people actually complain that they cannot see our test. So I'm just trying to like probably tell the tutors going forward, please, you can just probably increase the font size of our terminal so that people don't have to like squeeze their eyes, because somebody in our lab almost eyes almost got uh, blind trying to like see what is on the game. Yeah. So some of us we have like eye defects, and some of us we can't really see. So what I will just do is I'm going to increase the size of my terminal. So on my own terminal, I will just press Command plus, so you can see the text. So can you see, is it legible enough, or should I decrease it? So
I
I
think
mean,
it's more than legible. You might
more
have to
than
even reduce it. More,
all
yeah.
right. What about this?
Yeah,
Do you like
that's
it
fine.
like
That's fine. That's fine. That's all right.
okay?
Yeah.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I like to clear my screen. I don't like because I get distracted easily. So I just press Control L, or you can press clear, whatever you like. For me, I like shortcuts. So Control L. So yeah, I like to inspect my environment first. Then, okay, like I said, what should we name the directory to perform this analysis? Toby, you can just call anybody that you called, then I'm going to follow that person's scheme. So whatever you call it is what I will follow. What
Esther Jao, what should we
so we need,
do?
yeah.
I
So we
don't
need,
knew it.
you said,
You should know.
yeah,
I've
okay.
caught someone already.
All right, Esther.
Okay.
What should we name? So we need to create a directory for us to be able
Yes,
to like our analysis.
MKDIR.
You said,
I'm telling the code. I said MKDIR.
okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
MKBIL, yeah. So what should
Then
we
What
do?
food?
Yeah, then what?
the name.
Yeah, you
You
Rename.
choose the
can
name. That's what.
Yeah, choose the name. Like I'm going to go with the name so that it makes sense. And it
does that
captures.
mean
Yeah, so that's why I had to like set up the stage by giving you this, I mean, very brief intro. So I mean, just because I mean, you have to always name your stuff something that you can probably, if you should come back to it in a month's time, you will still be able to like know what that particular file or what that particular directory is doing, or is holding, or is talking about. So you need to come up with a very reasonable name. This is also part of the training. Coming up with a name is part of what we are trying to like
okay?
instill. So based on this, I mean
Yes.
everything I've, so just come up with a name.
Gene expression sample.
I can't put something.
Eh?
Gene expression. Gene expression. Okay.
Gene underscore expression underscore sample.
You want to cut on?
Okay, I'm just going to call it RNA-seq analysis.
I was hoping she
RNA-seq.
was going to say RNA seek.
Yeah.
Gene underscore expression
But it's still,
underscore.
yeah, but yeah, it's still the same thing actually. Yeah, I think it's because
Yeah,
probably you are
yeah,
just
yeah.
getting used to it with time. So
Yeah.
by the time you have more experience, you actually like this thing is something that will just come to you by default sometimes. So sometimes, I mean, by the time you actually start getting your hands dirty, this thing will just come to you automatically and say, well, it's short name, and then you'll still be able to like, yeah. So I mean, we are going to call it RNA-seq analysis. Then I'm going to press this. Now, to be like everybody will I made a mistake in my key. So I'm going to remove this RNA-seq experiment. So it should be, I didn't spell it very well, RNA-seq. So I need to determine whether I have created it. What can I run to determine whether I successfully created the RNA-seq analysis, RNA-seq directory.
Familiar.
So
Familiar in response to that. How do you know that you have it?
yeah.
Familiar, you.
You know, we have 2 hours and we have a lot of things to do.
PWD.
PWD.
Is that what we show you?
PWD. I've played
We are saying
PWD.
we are.
Yeah, LS.
I want to
Yeah, are you
confirm
familiar?
whether I
It's familiar. I
successfully
was asking.
created.
It's because of time now.
Okay.
Ẹ má bínú.
You know more. Family one. Oh yeah. Family say okay. They
I
said
have
LS already.
one
So
last
shall
LS. Okay, thank you. So you use LS, and then you go to your. Although I have a lot of things here, so that's why you are seeing all of this RNA-seq. Where is RNA-seq? OPQRSTU V OPQR. I can see RNA-seq.
There.
Yeah.
Down.
Okay. You
Under
can see.
regression was put.
So this is RNA-seq. So we've created this. Sorry for my kidding. I've done a lot of things. So I don't want to, because so that there was a competition we applied for. So I don't want to clear this thing now. But after the competitions, I'm going to like clear things. So this is RNA-seq analysis. Okay. So that means I've created it. Now I will need to enter into that directory. What command am I going to press? We've created. We created.
already.
Yeah, we've created the directory. We've confirmed that it has been created. We need to enter into that directory. What am I pressing?
Clement Ojo.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I can't see what you said.
Okay,
What
I'm
did,
not sure.
what did she say?
Answer, please.
Yes,
You see the, I think you see the into
exactly. CD
rec.
exactly. So, but before you go, so how will I confirm that I successfully enter into
Yeah, I'm
the?
not sure. How would you confirm? Or
How
what
will
is
I
the indicator
confirm?
that you have successfully entered the folder?
Yes, how will I confirm?
Okay, well maybe you cut R
Mm-hmm.
No,
to show.
you can't even cut a directory.
Because
That's
it's
the
empty.
my YPS. Austin, it's okay. Thank you, Austin. Let Austin respond. Austin has raised the hand. Thank you.
So
Cat
PWD.
or at
exactly. Nah, yeah, exactly. So
PWD.
PWD. So please don't be afraid to say rubbish. So because at the end of the day, if you actually say rubbish, you're actually learning on the way. Like it turns out that people that makes mistake a lot, they are most of the time they are usually very experienced and successful. I won't lie. I mean, in terms of probably anything they are doing, because they've experienced it, they know what actually caused this stuff. So now that I mean, you said cat before, but now you now know that you can use cat to do that, because you use cat to concatenate two or more files together, or to read the content of a file. So that's just the two functions. You cannot use to read the content of a variable. I mean, of I say a variable of a directory. You cannot use it. So that is why we were not. I mean, we cat wouldn't work in that instance. So I mean, everything has their own specific purpose. So cat is just for files. Whenever I say if you are using cats, know that okay, the files that you are working with or you want to manipulate is a text, is a file. So it's a file, it's not a directory. So you can't use a cat to see the content of a directory. What you can use to see the content of a directory is ls. What you can use to confirm where you are. I just like say, okay. It's just like you turning on your Google map and say, okay. You know that sometimes you will just be somewhere and say, where am I against it? So that your Google map is your PWD. So it's the one that will tell you exactly where you are. I mean, so that's why it is PWD, and you can see where we are, that we are now in RNA-seq.
One other question before you move ahead. Aside pressing PWD, what's the indicator of where you are? What else is the indicator of where you are? From the screen, it's glaring at us.
Yeah. Although it might not be glaring here.
It is glaring actually. It is glaring from your own screen.
Okay. I'm coming. Straight into our RNA-seq analysis.
Yeah.
Okay, it's still the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
You saw what
I was thinking probably this one we display very, differently.
Who else? I'm not sure your hand is still raised up if it's from before or newer.
So please, we have to move very fast.
Just one question.
Are we still
One
calling?
other
Is
analysis.
it anybody or can we just answer?
Oh yeah, answer.
I think
If
probably calling will be better, because that way people that are always passive in class will actually
I'll
force
start
them to
calling
talk.
them. Don't worry. I don't know why everybody's
But
shying away from
don't
it.
waste time. Probably if they call your name, please don't just waste time. If it's rubbish that, I mean, if it is anything that shall comes to mind, just say it. We are not judging anybody because little by little, this thing will start making sense. I'm telling you. So don't be
So
afraid to. So
let's start. Give us the response. What do you think is the what is the other indicator aside from PWD?
Okay, so on the screen, what is being shown here, the RNA-seq
Exactly.
analysis is the last
Thank you. That's
directory.
all I wanted. Yeah.
so this
Yeah.
one
Thank you.
is also
Yeah.
yeah. So
Go
that's also
on.
an indicator. So PWD. Yeah. So now we are now in the directory where we are going to butcher, torture. Think of any is there any verb that that comes to it. Just think of anything. So this is the directory we are going to do our dirty work. This is the directory that we are going to do our dirty work. But before we do our dirty work, we need to find a target that we can torture. Targets that we can torture, that we can bully. Anything, any negative story that I can think of. I'm not saying she will bully, but we need something we can torture. So, and what we can torture, like I said, this is the link to that stuff. How come I cannot even see my? Don't think this is necessary. No, this is necessary. Sorry. So yeah. Where is even okay? So this is the link to the data we'll be torturing. So we have to copy it. And then, in fact, if we even copy this thing and just probably put it here, you can see. So this is how it looks like. You can see it's sitting on the web. How do I know? Because it has this HTTP. So it's sitting somewhere in somebody's GitHub somewhere. So this is actually how the data set looks like. So this is the target we are going to be building. You can see this. You can see the field, this, and this, and this, and that. So these are the fields. Although they are comma separated file, like it was said. So it's a comma separated file. And these are the columns. So, and these are the individual observations. Our RNA observation. So we need to get this thing because this thing is actually staying somewhere remote, somewhere in probably in the UK, somewhere. So how can we teleport? How can we transport this data set from that remote destination, remote source to our own destination? So I'm going to copy. So let me just copy the link. But you can copy it from here, you can copy it from there, but let me copy it from here. So what command can I use to download this? What command can I use to download?
Okay, somebody responded. Adiola Idirobash. He said curl or wget.
You said?
Mute, please. Somebody said curl or wget.
Wget.
Or curl. Yeah, somebody
Yes.
said curl or wget.
Yes, wget is going to work. But
Yeah.
in my own macOS, I don't have wget function.
Yes.
So
Mac people don't have.
but I have core.
Yeah.
So if you don't have like they both do the same thing actually. So I don't have said wget command not found, but I have core. So I have core. So another way you can confirm that you have something is if you reach wget. If it's give you the parts, this one didn't give me any parts. But if I hit which call, and if I should see a part, so it's saying no, this is where this command lives on my computer. And I should go to this particular location directory, the bin directory. So this is the part I have to. I first have to probably start from the root, go to the user, go to secretary, you go to miniconda, go to bin. I'm going to see core. So this is where this core is. Clement to you.
Clement to ask you.
Please, can you help us drop the link to the chat box? Like I want to install it on my system now.
Okay. The chat box. I can't even find that. Okay, sorry. I was confused at first. All right. So you can also download something to torture. I think we all need a punching bag. So this is the data set we'll be punching. So, right. So, so you can use switch to determine whether you have a command, whether you have like a command. And so if you see an output, so that means, you actually have that call, and you have that particular command. So if you don't see any output, so that means you don't have it. So this is actually one way that we use to confirm something. So, this is one of the many ways. Yeah. So, but let's just take things slow. So I'm going to use call to download. And then the call syntax, if you can't remember how to use it, it's either you go to ChatGPT and ask, or you use a manual that we have here, just to be able to like say, okay, call, transfer URL. So it's giving us how to actually do it. I think if you go down, you can see a way to do it. So you just have to probably read this manual, and then it's going to give you like how to use the stuff. But I don't want to waste time, so I'll just tell you. Okay, so I think you have to like probably, so you can see call and then URL. So, and that's what we are going to do. So we are going to use call. And if you don't have call, or if it's ChatGPT, that's probably I say ChatGPT, it's wget. With wget that you have, use wget. They both do the same thing. So it's just okay, different brand. It's just like you using an iPhone and me using the Samsung. So you can see whatever you can do with Samsung, you should be able to like do it with, but do not, yeah. But you get the gist. So call, and then this. So what is actually happening? I want to download these data sets, right? But we can see a lot of things being printed out to my screen. How can I confirm that I've downloaded this? Somebody. I'm going to clear my screen again. You can press clear or control. How can I confirm that I've downloaded it?
LS.
LS. Wow. I just ran LS and I didn't see anything. What could be happening? So what is happening is that if you just specify this thing without any option, so there are actually two ways that you can actually capture this thing. You said that you press this thing. So whatever you run, like I said, when you run this, you are seeing something in your screen. So whenever you run any analysis and you see something being displayed to you on your terminal, we call it standard output. And all standard, what happens is that you can always redirect. So that's why the direction always works. You can always redirect them to a file. So instead that I do this, I will show you different ways that you can use to download this. So I will call it example1.csv. So just to show you again, I will copy this. Just to show, I'm going to clear my terminal first so that you don't get confused. So I've cleared my terminal. So this was the command I ran, but without this. And then when I ran it, it's printed out a lot of things. And it didn't download, it just downloaded it and just printing it out to my, it's not really saving it. It's not writing it to memory, to our ROM, our storage. It's not writing it to it. But we want to be able to like capture it and save it so that we can use it and torture that file. So there are three ways actually that you can actually go about this. One is to do this. You can redirect, like I said, whenever you see something printed out to you on the terminal, we call it standard output. And all standard output can be redirected. So that's why the direction always work. Can be redirected. So a file, with anything, I'll just name the file, example 1. I want to show you a lot of things. You can see. We'll see magic happening. So it's still downloading. The speed is going to depend on the size of the file that you are trying to like download. It's also going to depend on what, who can tell me the size of the file that you're trying to get. It's also the internet speed, exactly. So so I'm not sure that you guys cannot remember that document that I sent the other day about computer hardware and things like that. So whenever you are always fetching something from the internet, it's going to be slower than whatever you already have. That's probably I'm just trying to like access this on my computer. It's going to be faster because there is nothing. So how can I confirm LS? I use LS to confirm. You can see I have a sample .csv. So I can less it. So there are ways that you can inspect a file. Is that you use lex, is that you use cat, is that you use nano, is that you use what? Head or tail. So a lot of ways. But if you actually want to inspect, I like using less most of the time. Less, then example.csv. We can see that we managed to download the data set that we are going to touch on. So that's actually one way to skin the cat. This is not the only way to actually download things. The other way to download things is this. This is, remember, this was the initial syntax that we have. The other way is to actually specify an option called capital letter O. So if you say capital letter O, what will happen is that capital letter O, by the time you specify this, is saying, okay, don't print this thing to me as standard output. Download it and then save it. And when you are saving it, name it as the last thing that we have in that URL. So it's going to name it as example.csv. So that's actually what is happening here. So whenever you use capital letter O with core, it's saying, don't just download this thing and then print it to me as a standard output. As you are downloading it, write it on memory and then name it to what we have in the last part of the URL link, which is example.csv. I'll be CSV. So I'm going to run this, press enter. You know, the first one was example1.csv. So this one is just going to be example.csv. So we actually have like, and I can confirm using this. Sorry. So you can see, you see the same thing. Example.csv. The third way is probably you don't, because there are times when probably the URL will not really be descriptive enough. It's just going to be jargons or something that does not make any sense. So it's not to probably use. So you are not going to use. So we now have another one called small letter O. So by the time you say small letter O, you want to say, well, fetch this particular data set online, download this to my local computer. Don't print it to me as standard output. And when you are saving it, don't save it as example.csv. I want to give you the name, my own. I want to rename it myself. I don't want to name it example.csv. I will just give it -o example2.csv. I'm sorry if I say CSF, just know that it is V that I mean, please. I don't know, I don't know why I don't like V. So CSF, because I mean CSF is cerebral spinal fluid. The MLS people should be able to. So because we work with a lot of CSF samples in our lab also. So I mean my brain has been programmed to always talk about CSF, but I need CSV. So if I should put this and I run it, so whatever you actually wants to do depends on you actually. So you don't need to like probably just adopt a method that you think will work best for you. And then, like I said, I just show you like 3 different ways to actually, you can see example2.csv. So and I have like 3 different version. I mean, 3 different names for the same, that all the same, I mean, content. So that's actually what is happening here. So I'm going to clean my mess and then delete, and then remove example. And it as well. States. Okay. How come I was not able to delete it too? But okay, I was hoping I would be able to like delete it. So I'm sorry for this. Yes. Ls example. Okay. I didn't name this thing very well, so I don't know why. It's not example. Sorry. Yeah.
Your spelling and pronunciation today.
Sorry. I will just copy it. Yeah. So this is the one we'll be working with, example.cs. So, like I said, if I want to inspect it, can somebody tell me how to actually inspect? I mean, I just want to see what is even in this file. Can somebody give me a command for that? I want to determine, I want to see the contents. I'm just to see. It's a
Less.
I use less. Less is one way. Yeah, less is one way. Yes, less. And you can see, you can inspect, you can do, or let's combine by less with minus capital letter S, because this one is much more readable. So you can see, you can scroll like this and things like that. Yeah, less. Which other way can we use to inspect this? Let's say I don't want to use less.
Cat.
So there are so many ways. You can use cat.
Use cat.
You can use cat, exactly.
You
But
can use
with
X.
large,
You
yeah,
can use A. You can use
you can
A.
also use head. But one thing, so let me warn you about cat. One thing about cats, why cat is not really that good in inspecting is if you have a lot, let's probably you have so many lines. I mean, there are a lot of lines in that particular file that at the end of the day, if I should press the, you see that I won't see any other thing. I won't see all of this thing again on my terminal because the content of this thing is so large that it's going to take up the entire thing I'm seeing on my terminal. You can see it's going to take. So, and then, so by the time you start seeing this, there's a way. So there's a sensation that your brain will start telling you, your brain will start getting confused in a way. So that's why you can always use clear or control. So control to clear. So you can also use set. So if you actually have, so the best way is just to use space or to use edge. If you use edge, so you can just specify well edge example. So the reason we are doing this is it's just like you trying to like size your opponents. You know, by the time you have an opponent that you want to win, you want to size whether it's a battle that you can win. So if you know that you cannot, by the time you see somebody that has a lot of muscle, and then me, just imagine me trying to like fight against somebody that has a lot of muscle. You know, if I don't cheat, there's no way I'm ever winning that guy. So I can afford just sizing before I start saying, okay, well, yeah, let's wrestle or let's fight. So before we actually start torturing or messing up with any file, you actually want to see what is even there, so that way, by the time you know what is in the content of your file, you can devise a plan. So in my instance now, let's say Victor now, Victor on the call, so I can beat that one. So I don't, once I've already sizing that it's somebody I can beat. So I don't need to cheat to beat him. But yeah, so let's say probably I'm not fighting Mayweather now. I have to cheat before I can win Mayweather. So that's actually what's happening here. So always know your opponents before you fight. So, and then we've inspected our opponents, and there is a CSV file where it has a lot of lines. And because we know that it has a lot of lines, so that means at the end of the day, we don't want to be using cat a lot when we want to inspect. So we don't want to be using cat a lot. We want to be using it. And that's because, I mean, we've able to like size we've inspected our file, and then we know what is there. We know it has a lot of lines. So what way? So this is actually one way to actually inspect. What is the other ways to inspect? So let's say I want to determine the number of lines that is in this file. How can I do that? I want to count the number of lines that is here. How can I do that?
WC slash L.
That's L.
And define it.
Yeah, exactly. You can see we have 2,000. Can I spell 21,000? Is it 21,000? 21,619 lines. So you can see you don't want to. So that's why I said, I mean, you don't want to be you don't want to use cards to inspect. So because it is a lot of lines, it's going to take your entire screen. It's going to take over. So you don't want to do that. You want to be using 8, you don't want to be using 3, you want to be using less, because less is going to open like another terminal for you to be able to like inspect and do your dirty stuff. So things like that. Yeah. So that is WC minus L. So okay. I want to now I want to determine the number of character that is here, or I even want to know the size. Size also matters sometimes. First, I want to determine the size of this file. How will I do that? The size of example.csv.
ls minus h.
Yeah, exactly. LS minus LH. You can see. You see that we have like
If
3
you don't stop
megabytes.
saying CSF, if you don't stop saying, I'll come and draw out your own CSF.
I mean CSV rather. Sorry. So CSV. Sorry, CSV. So CSV. So we can see the size. We can see. So this was just telling you probably the permission of. So we'll still teach you permission. I'm going to teach permission. When we get there. Shala, this is talking about the permission. So this one is just telling you that okay, it's just no content. So how you can actually know is if I should go back, if I should ls minus lh. I'm trying to like ls the content of my thing. Oh, okay. So let's go back to bioinfo UI that taking. I'm looking for any sick experiments. Okay, you can see. Saying we have like three contents. So we don't have 3 contents. Let's okay. So yeah, okay. So this one means okay. I mean, like you just have like one content, so you just have one thing here. The second is telling you the user, the owner of the system. So the other people that are there, the size, the dates that this thing was created, the time, and the name of the fact. So that's actually what this one is telling me about. So if I want to determine the number of characters, I just want to like probably determine the number of characters of this file in one place. So what you just have to do is with wc minus example.csv. You can see. So this one is telling you that okay, the first one is always talking about the line. The second one is talking about the words, the number of words that we have. And this one is telling you the number of characters that we have. So you can see that the number of this character is the same as this. If you convert it, it's still 3 point something. It's because this one has been rounded. It's still 3 megabases. So they will always be equal. They will always be like equal. So this one is 3 megabases. This one is also 3 megabases. Because the way bash script is actually determining this is counting one character one by one. But because we now have 3 characters and space included and everything included, 3 characters. So that's why you now have 3. So that's why it was able to like calculate this. So that's actually what is going on. But my own question is, why do you think this and this are similar? This line. So this, I said this one is the number of line. This one is the number of words. And this one is the number of characters in this particular file, in this example.css file. So why do we have the number of line and the number of words to be the same? Because normally our expectation is that this should be greater than this, right? The number of words should be greater than this, the number of this. So why do we have this thing to be the same? Can anybody answer the guess? Why do you think that is the case? So I'll just give you.
Should I call me?
Yes, please.
I am Akitayo. I'm a
Okay.
skill protocol.
So
Good happy.
Sure, you know, raise your hand before.
yeah, so this is the
Raise your
file.
hand.
No, I need to do.
Yeah.
You before
Well,
now.
just
but
say
Sha,
anything.
answer my question.
What do you think is actually? So the int is actually staring at you.
The int is staring at you, by the way.
Yes.
To answer.
Should I say it? Okay. I think it's because they are separated by a comma. So
Exactly. Yes, it's because they are separated.
Yes, please.
So the way the word is working is, it's just like your English language. So it's using space. It's using space to actually count the number of words. But because it could not see any space up to this point, this is where this first line ended. So that means at the end of the day, so this one is taken as just one word on line number 1. This one also is one word. Although we are just saying probably that this thing is actually one canoe, it's actually one line. It's because let's probably had a very large monitor. So this line is also part of this now. It's going, everything is going to, but because my terminal is not that long, so that's fine. I mean, I don't have a large screen, so that's why this thing has been wrapped and starting from beginning. But it's taking this entire one also as another line. So in Bash, it is actually space. I mean, for WC, it uses the number of space to actually determine the number of words. So you are right. So I say just say anything. So the code is actually comma separated. So thank you very much. Yeah, I like people that always think on the spot. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we've inspected our file. Yeah, we've inspected our file. So the next thing we want to do is, sorry. So since, like I said, this is in CSV format, but we can see that when we are reading it, if you should try and read this thing using probably less or nano or anything, minus s, you can see it's not really that readable. So comma separated file, so they are not, although it is readable, but they are not really that good compared to when, you know, we are actually used to seeing space, everything being delimited by space or things like that. So comma separated file, so the space has been limited by comma, so that's why it's called CSV, comma separated file. So that's why it's actually called CSV. So it's just good. CSV is good for storing data on the computer. It's good, or it's also good for computers to manipulate, but it's not really that good for human readability. So the very first task before us, ladies and gentlemen, is to actually convert this example.csv to a TSV so that we can be able to like read and see things very well. How can we do that? Want to move from example.csv to maybe something like example.tsv or or TXT, whatever you want to call it. So all of them are TXT, by the way, CSV, TSV, whatever. They're all text. So please, we need somebody to give us the commands.
Let me
like
call
I
him.
said,
Don't worry. I have name.
there are
Phil.
so many ways. If you know it is awk, you want to do anything. I'm not saying probably awk will work, but I'm just saying.
Phil. Phil.
Field.
Response.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
If Phil no respond, Victor, get ready. Let me give you an hint. Phil, I taught the code.
Yeah. In fact, there are probably 3 ways that I can even think of.
Exactly. 3 ways to do it, but I thought one specifically, and I mentioned you can do that. So Phil, please unmute and give me a response. If you not unmute, okay, I'm giving you 10 seconds to unmute. If you don't, we'll move on to the next person. I'm not moving on. I'm joking. You have to respond. At least unmute and say something. Phil is not saying anything. No.
People are having network issue or what?
Yeah, that's Phil on your screen. Phil, that last guy, not saying anything. Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, please. I joined the class day, so I don't really have idea of what they're saying. I just joined along.
Okay, I pardon you.
Thank you.
Victor, she go say Emeka. Victor, what can I use to convert comma to a tab?
Okay, I think you can use the tr command, but I don't know how to.
Thank you.
TR command. You should be able to like know how to do it. So the one way that although Tuchuko also later, I'm not sure whether you guys can still remember the class. So there are 2 ways that you can actually use TR command, but the one that I like to use is this. I like simplicity. That's your example.
Me too. Me too. I like to add. I don't want to use that underscore or probably less than.
Then you pipe. So you can now use TR. Then this, comma. So this one we want to change. And then want to change this to this. So want to change, comma, anytime anywhere we see comma, we want to put space, or should I put tab? No. I want to put space. I want to put space. Yeah. So this one will work. Oh. But another way you can do is probably use this, right? This one to work. But or you just put nothing. Okay, let's even see whether nothing will work. You can see the space has been removed, right? But I want to make it like a tab. So I'm going to escape it and use something like this. So because if you don't escape it, so I mean this thing will, so this is how you actually specify tab on any Unix machine. So and if it is next line also that you want to use. But let me clear my time here. So by the time you run it, you can see. But what is actually happening here? You don't want to convert it. But if you actually ls, I didn't have anything. So what I have been printed to me is a standard output. And how can we store anything called standard output? Somebody. This thing is not, it's just printing it out to me. It's not really storing it.
I have a name for you. I have a name for you. Latifat Ibrahim, please respond.
Ibrahim, I've been Latifat.
Latifat Ibrahim,
please can you respond?
Unmute, please, and give us a response to that question. He said it in the first few sentences he made in this class. He said it.
Yeah.
Latifat Ibrahim, please. At least I'll mute and let me hear your voice. If you didn't get, if you don't know it, at least I know you don't know it. Just I want to be sure you are even in this class. Can the energy please respond?
Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, you know, the question is I want to convert example.csv into CSV file. But I don't want to overwrite this, so I don't want to overwrite. I just want, I still want this CSV. But I want to create another one that has the same content, but the delimiter is not comma, it's now tab. And this is the syntax that we are going to use. But when I ran this command, I saw a lot of this thing being printed. So, and then when I ls, I don't have anything. Although this is a TS, all of this thing, they are tab separated, but they are not being stored. I want to store this. So this, all of this, we call it standard output, anything that is being presented to you on the terminal. By the time you run a command, whatever is something, if you see an output on the screen, so that is a standard output. But there is a way we can store all standard output. You said?
So can you put the code again? Like put the then I think the greater than symbol and the name of the
exactly.
file.
Yes, exactly. So
thank you.
So
you can just change the instead of example.csv, you can just do example.csv.
Exactly. So you can see. And how can I confirm? ls. And then I have it less minus s example.tsv. You can see. Do you like this picture or you don't like it? Compared to this thing. Compared to this. Which one? Or you have both. So which one do you find more readable and more finer between this CSV and TSV? Which one do you like? I'm throwing it open.
CSV.
Okay, you like TSV. Me too, I like TSV. You can see how dope, how clean this thing is. Right? Right. See now. So one last thing. This is, I mean, we have the column here. Okay, like I said, there are so many ways that you can do it. In fact, can somebody else think about another way to do this thing? Yeah? Can anybody probably tell me another way to do this? Remove.
To do what?
So get CSV without using TR.
Yeah,
okay, without
Okay.
To convert comma to tab, abi?
Yes.
Yes, to tab. I don't want to
Yeah,
use
we
TF command. I want to use something else.
can use said.
Can
The
you said?
Good.
Exactly. Yes.
Good. Good. Good.
Yes, said.
Yeah. Una brains they work.
You can see cat example dot. Let's see. You can use cats. Use cats. You know what is actually happening is so whatever that if you use cats, this is what is happening. This is a standard output. All standard output can be piped. They can be redirected. So whatever you can cut. So that's why we are always using cats at the beginning because we shall know that okay, it's going to output something. So that output is now going to be used as input to the next command. So that's what's actually happening here. The output of this cat. So by the time you run it, the output of this thing is going to give you a standard output. And the output is going to be used as the input to the next command, which is what's said. And then, you know, this is the syntax. This is single, I think it's single quotes now. Then syntax, this. So we want to change comma, right, to tab. I think it's this, I'm not sure. Then G. So let's all see. You can see you have something. So I can now put example dot tsv. So if I now less example dot tsv, you can see that I have my tab, although okay, it's because I didn't put less minus s, so that's why you are not, it's not coming out pretty. So we can see we still got the same thing. So can you see that? I mean, so there are so many ways that you can actually skin a cat. So one way is to use this. Is there a question? Please, if you have a question, just go ahead. But you know what this G is? Go and revisit it. This G is just telling you that you want to replace G generally, like, you know, if you don't put G, you're just going to replace the first occurrence of comma. But by the time you put G, you are saying globally, like everywhere, right? Never, wherever comma might be hiding, I want to replace it with tab. So that's why you are putting this G. So you can go and revisit why, I mean, so this is the syntax, substitute this. I mean, this is our pattern, and this is our, I mean, this one is what we want to change, and this one we want to change it with. So that's what we call it. So this one is substitution, clinic, I've forgotten the full name. So, but we shall have clinic. But the one thing I want to tell you is, you can see that this particular stuff, they are not really aligning very well. You can see like Jane, I mean, it's very difficult to actually follow which one is okay. This one is Jane, this one is base. So they are not sitting on top of each other, like how it should actually be in a normal column. So there's now a way that we can do this thing. In fact, this one I do a lot whenever, you know, whenever I want to use awk, you know, awk by default work with tab or space delimiter file. So if you don't do that, you have to like probably specify minus f variable. I mean, minus f, you know, that's why you have Toby. I think Toby was the one that taught us, okay, and use awk minus zfs or f. So it depends on your timeline. On my timeline, it is f that work, but probably on your timeline, it might probably fs. It's separator. So you need to like probably now.
If you're writing this, if you're writing on terminal minus f is
yes. If I'm writing on script, it's what minus fs. So and then specify what you want to probably name probably this and this and I don't know. I think you just specify something like this. And so okay, this is a comma, so you have to specify, otherwise all we just think you are it is working with what's a tab separated file. But so in order to make sure that things actually align, I'm going to delete this example.c, remove example.tsv, and then I can say I don't have it again. So another way you can actually do it is there's this command we call column. So we say column is a command. Give me a table. That is minus T. Like I want a tabular format. Give me a table. And my feed separator, my separator is minus S. So you have to specify the, because the input file that we are going to pass to this thing is going to be example.tsv. And then example.tsv. So before I say this, let me just first ls less minus s. We can see there is still a tab separated file, but you can see that everything is now sitting very well. Can we see it unlike before? Do we understand what is going on? You can see that G, all of these are aligning with G. All of these are aligning with base name. All of this, they are aligning with log, vote change. All of this is aligning. So everything is sitting down where they should sit. Unlike before when everything was just jumbled together, like we did here. You know, things were just jumbled together. If I less at this point, I don't want to save. If I less at this point, you can see they were not sitting very well. Things were not sitting very well. But with this, things were sitting very well. Now we can also save. So in order to save, I'm going to delete ls minus a and then now pipe it into example.tsv. So if I do that, and if I now ls minus s example.tsv, you can see, can't we? So yeah, we've successfully probably done the first aspect of our task. So now what he wants to do is we want to select, let me even read the question again. So data converted to tab delimited, we've done that format. Sort the row based on their p value. So we want to sort. We want to sort now. So we need to sort. Please, are we together? Do you understand what I'm trying to do before I even go far? Do you understand the logic? And this is why we have to like probably use some tools. I mean, the logic behind everything. Is everything coming together to you? Or we've been playing? Please, let's talk. Is anybody talking? Please, do you understand what is going on?
Yes.
Okay. Just one yes. And we have
Yes,
14
sir, we
people
understand, sir.
on the call. Okay. I think it's not everybody that is following. Joy, no, just please, if you don't understand, just but these are basically what we do sometimes actually. I mean, we successfully clean, make everything aligned now. So things are looking fine. So the next task is this, which is sort the row. I think Toby taught us sort, or who taught us, was it Tochukwu? I can't even remember. But I have taught you the sort command. Sort is when you want to sort your what? Your file. So just like probably you have an Excel file, you want to sort in ascending or descending order. But sort by default does it in ascending order. Is it ascending? Yeah. Is it ascending is from? Okay. Yeah, in ascending order. So that's what it does. In ascending order from the lowest to the highest, ascending order. So that's actually how sort does it. So, like I said, if you want to sort this, let's say one that want to sort. Let's say we should sort by either p value or p adjust. You know, sometimes when we do RNA-seq experiment or we do any experiments, they will say we should go and do statistical tests. So what we just want to do, we want to see those stuff that are statistically significant so that we shall compress and things. So that's actually what we want to see. So the ones that has perhaps lowest p value, we expect to be sorted at the top, and the one with higher p value, they should be below, like down, because they are not significant. And the ones that are less than 0.05 or that have like lower kernel should be at the top. So the command we are going to use is okay. How can we sort? What's the command we are using to sort? Somebody. If you think it is sort, you are mistaken. When you want to sort, what is the command? Toby, please can you just call on somebody for me?
All right. I'm calling on Joseph ODG. Like fuse
Joseph
Odge. I don't know.
ODJ. I want to sort my file.
Yeah, I don't know this one actually.
Please.
I don't have to.
You said? Well, can
Joseph, I
somebody?
can't hear you.
Okay.
Joyce Johnson, please.
All right. Please, I just want to ask a question. Does anybody know who Michael is it Ido or Idris? It's been long that I saw him in class. If anybody can
Michael
probably check. Is he in your group?
No,
I mean,
I don't know.
he's surely very active in class, but I don't think I've seen him in 3 consecutive classes. So if anybody can probably check up, or if you have his number, I don't know how to get his, so I can just probably message him. I like checking on people. Yeah, so Adela said we are using sort. It is actually correct. So I just wanted to confuse you. So you are using sort to sort. So we want to sort based on the specific column. So this column is now this when we have to start counting. So let's look at LS. Let's look at LS first. I say LS out our folder. So I want to sort based on this p value or this, whichever that you choose. But let's say you choose p value, since that's what. So p value. So this p adjust is also a p value, but an adjusted p value. So that's done some correction. So that's why. So in a way, importance, you might actually want to like give this priority over this. But since majority of us are actually used to p value, let's just go with p value. But you can, so this might be the best way to actually probably sort in case of our name. Because p value is an adjusted, a p adjust is an adjusted p value. It's a p value that has been corrected for some probably underestimation and overestimation. So we have this particular column. So we need to probably count. So head minus n1 example dot csv. Why is it giving this? The p value is 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's on the 6th column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this I will now use sort. Sort minus k. So we want to start what by 6. So you have to specify that okay, I'm using this 6 column to sort. Then but now you need to like determine. So because there are so many ways to sort by default, if you don't specify, if you run this, it's going to lexicographically, I mean the way your dictionary is actually sorted. So that means okay, probably actually like a demo example. So demo dot txt. So let's say probably I have 11, I have 21, and I have. So that we know, you know. So if you put just sort demo.txt, this one we don't because we just have see. So this is lexicographical sort. So because one, so it's always going to give. Okay, you looking at your dictionary, you know A is going to come first, anything. So just looking at, normally we know that what we expect is 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 21. But it's not sorting it lexicographically. So 1, all occurrences of 1 were prioritized. Then it took 2, because 2 is the next. Then 21 was because 21 started with 2, so it prioritized 2 over 3. So I'm not sure whether you get what's actually going on. So it's sorting lexicographically. So this is lexicographical sorting. So let's now say probably to now change this. Okay, I don't want a lexicographical sorting. I want numerical sorting. What happens? So since it starts sorted very well, 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 21. So this is actually the way you sort using sort. But there's another one called sort minus G. Although it's still going to give you the same answer as this. But here is the distinction. Please, I'm not sure whether you can hear me. I'm really struggling to shout. I'm shouting on top of my tongue, but my voice. But can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's really.
Yes,
Yeah, you. I think it's where you are, right?
Yes, it is only when where I am. Let me close
I
the
still hear you
window.
clearly. No problem.
But
All right.
the windows are closed actually. So I will just shout. So my explanation is that there's another one called G. So this minus G is similar to minus N. They both sort numerically, but this minus G is more powerful than minus N. And I will tell you why. Let's now say we have something like this. Let's say I manipulate this a little bit further, and I put all these expression. You know, there's a way you can do e raised to power 10, right? We expect that 1 e raised to power minus 10 should come first by the time we sort. So let's see what will happen in our sorts. So the first one is sort without any stuff. I mean, this one is lexicographical sorting, the default setting. Look at what happened. All the operations of 1 were prioritized, 2 and 2. So let's now see sort with minus N. Can we see what is happening? 1 was proud. I mean, this one, but we expect that this 1 e means 0.00000. We know that this one is smaller than 1. So we expected, we should expect that this should actually come first. Well, come first. Why? Because this minus N is only, it has been designed just to look at things that are just numerics. I mean, it's not looking, it doesn't work well with probably decimal, things that has decimal, or things that have like all these exponents. So that is where minus G now comes into play. It can actually distinguish, I mean, capture this, reflect this into its what, into its analysis, and say, oh, this one should actually come first before this. You can now see that we know that this should be the correct one. So this is 1 e minus 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the correct stuff that we want. But if we now look at our what, our less, let's look at less again. Sample.csv. We can see our p-value. We can see that we have some e at the end, right? Can we see some e? E raised to power minus 12. Can we all see it or not? We have e here. Please, let's stop. You can see it. We have e here. So that means at the end of the day, if we want to sort, are we sorting? So which kind of sort are we using? Is it sort without any option? Well, do you want to sort lexicographically, numerically, or this one is I don't know what minus G specified. But which one do you want to use? Is it sort minus N or sort minus G in order to sort our very well? What do you want to do? Sort minus G. So that means at the end of the day, so when we now want to run our code, it's going to be sort minus G, right? To say that, okay, I want to sort it like properly. Then you have to specify your column. Our column is, I think we said 6. Was it 6 or 7? I can't remember.
6.
6.
So 6. So you have to specify the 6th column, and then the name of your file, example.csv. So by the time you now run this, you might not see it very well. So you can actually probably pipe this to this. So I like probably doing this before saving my stuff, just to confirm that, you know, I could have just probably say, okay, well, let me redirect this thing. I could have just said this and then redirect into probably anything I want to name it, probably sorted stuff, sorted example file. So, but I like inspecting whether things are actually working very well before redirecting. So that's why I like typing into less minus s. So let's see whether what we've done actually makes sense. You can see e for marking. So this is we expect that this should be the lowest, right? Because 0.000 in 33 and 300, I mean 303 times. You can see. So you can see that these are extremely significant. They are less than 0.05. You can see. Can we see? Although, yeah, we should see still some. I'm not sure whether we have some that doesn't have things. So if we start scrolling, you can see a lot of stuff going on, right? Yeah. So things are, have been sorted properly. Now we can now save. So how can I save? I just have like probably this and then redirect it. Because if I should do this, I'm getting a standard output. because I'm getting a standard output, I should be able to like redirect. Is that not the case? I should be able to redirect into, so I'll just clear my screen again. So I want to redirect into, what should we name this as? The name, I'll be sorted example dot tsv, right? ls. Now we cannot expect ls minus ls sorted. So can we see? We've been able to like capture what we did. Do we understand what is going on at all?
Yes, you understand.
Okay. So what is the next task? Column independence. Select only the ID, gene, and p-value column. So we want to select the columns that we want. Select only the ID, the gene, and the p-value column. How can I do that? We want to select. What command you said?
I thought you can use off or cut.
Up of exactly. So in fact, that is actually the two commands that comes to mind. But can you give me the syntax?
Okay. No, I can't. Sorry.
You can't. You don't. Okay, can anybody try?
Is that laugh for me?
Yeah. Can somebody else try?
Let them start with cuts.
Okay,
Austin, can you give us that? Yeah, Austin, cut.
Austin, is Austin still on the call? Okay, Austin.
Yeah.
It's not coming to my mind. It's not coming to mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually normal. Some of these things,
you know, you're going to pick a delimiter, and then you are going to pick a field, and then the file. Those are the things you should remember. Cut. What are you going to cut with? What delimiter? We said tab. And then what are you going to be? What column are you picking? It's as simple as that, right? So
yes.
Now, Austin, I've given you the source. Answer again.
Probably we can see somebody else that can try. Does anybody want to give it a shot?
Oh yeah. Adiola self clapped for me, so I'm sure Adiola wants to respond. I think she's not the one that clapped. So
It's still me, but I'm not giving us a try. But I'm actually not in a very conducive place right now.
okay, all right. Let's go on. Is Tochi on this call? He said
okay.
It's not.
Cut.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Abib,
you can use
type in. Esther is dictating for you.
Okay. Esther, please go ahead.
Please, can you show the heading for the file?
What's the question?
So we'll cut.
I want to do something. Okay. Simple dots. TSV. Less. So these are the headings.
Okay. So we want to.
Let me show it for you. So these are the headings.
1, 2, 3, 4. So what are the values you want
let me
to
just print it to you on the terminal. Sorry. Although I'm doing complex stuff, but you can see it. These are the headings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
So we want to
So
this is the question. You want to select the ID, which is this. You want to select this column. You want to select the gene column, which is this symbol.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And then want to select the p-value column, which is this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 8.
So we want to select 1, 6, this, and this.
Cut minus D, although the this thing is tab.
The default is tab, so we don't need minus D. Yes.
So cut minus F.
Minus F, yes.
1, comma 8,6.
6,8. Yeah. Then
Example.tsv.
right.
Enter.
Enter.
No, space now. Okay. Oh, share. Wow.
Well, how are we sure that was share?
How are we sure that was share?
Okay.
We will check the up now. I said you.
See,
Append it to a new file.
share. It's not possession, but when I did all of this, you can see.
And the -1 is there not supposed to be space between sorry, -f and 1?
It's not really necessary. So
Thank you.
wait, I'm coming. Less minus. So it's giving us this, the p-value, but it's not giving me the row. So what could be the issue? So I think the issue has to do with, because if you actually do it less, so let's probably use this. Let's say instead of this CSV, we use CSV. So that I'm CSV. Okay, so I have to specify -d. So it's going to work in this instance. Sorry. So it's going to work in this instance. I think the issue has to do with probably when we use column. So I think probably the delimiter is no longer, it has been changed from probably tab to something else. But normally it should work because it should, okay, so this one didn't work. So yeah, since we've actually come into this error, so the only way we can actually probably come around is, okay, when we use this, when we did this, okay, this was the command that we ran initially, right? So we expected this one to actually bring out something less, but it didn't work. It didn't work.
Sorry,
So
can you put this?
you said
Between the -f and the 168.
sorry, I'm coming. Yes.
Victor, his hand.
Oh yeah, Victor, please go ahead.
All right,
Victor,
thank
go
you.
ahead.
I used the cut -d, then space in between quotes, like as my own delimiter, and it worked.
It worked for you.
Yes.
So probably there is something wrong with I don't know why it's not working yet. But minus squeeze. Okay. Normally it has to work, but if it doesn't work, so we can still get around this. So what we just have to do is to probably so that's why I said thank God we didn't delete the .csv. We can still get around it by using this cut, by using comma, then the delimiter field 1, 6, 8. So whatever you get here, so you are going to get, sorry. So example .csv rather. So you should get, okay, now not see variable, but I should press less minus s. So we can see we have what we wanted. So what we can just do is, okay, now that we have this, so what I can just do is the previous command that I've run, I can just say probably column. I can have a column into table minus S, minus separator is this. So this one, so let's see what the output will be. Where is this in the line? Let's minus S. So this is the output. Now we need to sort. So I can keep piping. I just have to like probably use sort now. Sort, right? Sort minus G minus K. So this one is not going to be 3. I mean, just let me confirm. I'm not sure the column less minus S. So, okay, the second column. So this is going to be sort minus G minus K, the second column, right? And then if I should run that, less minus S. What happened? I already have what I wanted, right? I can now redirect this thing. I can overwrite because look at it. So this is what we created. But now we want to like, okay, so we can now redirect this output because this is actually what we want. Just like everything has been sorted and then, right? I can now probably redirect this. So into probably sorted, I should like sorted. Let me just probably, is it filtered? How can I name it? I need a name, filtered sorted.csv. Although it's not filtering that I'm doing, but please do you understand what I just did? I started again from the raw file and I just kept piping. So what I just did there is, well, this is this. I selected the column that I want initially, and I did this column minus T. So I converted it so that everything will be nicely displayed. So I sorted it by the what by the p-value that I wanted, and then I even made a mistake. It's not going to work like this. So I have to first. So it has to be this. So if I now less minus S filter this, we can see. So this is actually what we want. Do we understand what I just did or not? So initially, the TS3 did not work for me as I wanted, and I didn't know how to get around it. So I had to like start again from the scratch. So instead of now creating everything, I was just piping. So that's what actually, I mean, that's why piping is actually very sweet. You can just keep piping to get what you desire. So this is actually what I wanted. So this is what I wanted. So this is what I wanted. Less filtered. So this is what I wanted. I can see everything. So do we understand what I did on it? Yes. Okay. Alternatively, so this is actually one way. So Adela said we can also use awk. So I'll just, yes, you can actually use awk to actually do this thing as well. So one way. So even though Cut was not able to like, you know, initially we were to like use Cut when Esther was giving us the syntax, but it didn't work when we were using this syntax, this particular one. It didn't work out for us. You know, things didn't work out as we wanted. So you know, we're still getting the column that we didn't want. So we can actually use awk as well. And can somebody tell me the codes that we can use? You know, by default, awk should be able to like probably do this thing very fine. So because we don't have time, I'll just go ahead. So awk, remember, the thing that will first come is this one we do, we are not really, we don't want to be strict. We just want to print, we want to select the column, but we can use awk to select the column. Remember the syntax, pattern, action, right? But if we don't, since we don't want to do any condition, we just want to like print, we can just say, okay, this is the only thing that we want is just print. Then $1, right? $1, $6, and $8, and $8, and then your example dots TSV. So if I should run this, I've run it, but let's see whether it worked. So we can see we've been able to like select it, but it's still not in the nice format that we want. So what we can just do is, okay, this was the last thing I did. So you just have to like delete this and then probably type it into column, right? Minus T. You want it in tabular format. So you don't need to probably specify a separator. So we don't need to specify a separator. You can just probably minus T. And then I think if I should less minus L2, it should, we can see. So, and then since this is what we want, we've selected the column that we want, and everything is nicely sorted. Okay, things are not nicely sorted anymore. Okay, I think probably, okay, we use the wrong, so we also have used this. Okay, we should have used this as our file, not example to say, and it's sorted. So this one we should also have used, and then we can see everything is nicely sorted. We can now, let me redirect it. Redirect. So what we want, which is this, the result example is TSV. So you're just going to overwrite it. So what I'm just doing is overwriting what is the content, and then to see whether you have it, you press this. So this is actually what is happening. Do we understand what I just did or not? So we have just 8 more minutes to end the call. But please, do you understand what I just did or not?
Yes, sir.
Please, others, do you understand what I just did? So we can also use up to do this thing. I mean, if cut did not work as you want, I mean, you can just probably use up as well. So up will also do it very fine. Others, please, do you understand or not? Okay. So please, other people, Phil, Austin, do you understand? Austin,
Do you understand what?
Gratitude, do you understand?
Yeah, do. Yeah.
You don't
I get
understand?
the. I do.
Okay. Gratitude,
I do. Okay.
are you still with us, Gratitude?
Yes,
So do you understand? So I didn't get that. You can just probably type or give a thumb up or thumb down. So Clement, do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Joyce Johnson, please, do you understand what I just did? Or
Yeah, I want to ask a question.
okay, please go ahead.
So when we try to use the cut, the one column 168, it was not running then, right?
It was not running, and I'm still surprised why you don't.
I think it's because the command is counting the space, like the tab, as one of the field of the column. Like when
Yes.
I try to do cut F to F3, when I do F2, it's printed the tab only to the screen. It doesn't print the base main as the
Okay, so
second field.
okay, it actually can't. Okay, what you are saying is counting probably the tab, those empty spaces.
Yeah, together with it. So I think it's going to
Yes.
give the
So that means we just have to probably change all of this. Probably so one will be the same. Probably let's increment it by 6 should be 8, and 8 should be 12. 8 should be 12. No, it don't work. So okay, let me just okay, let me increment by 7 and 168. Okay, this one's going to work. Yeah, so I don't know why it's not working. Okay, is it because of this? So 8, 10, 8, 10. I don't know what is wrong. But I mean, if one does not work, you can try the other. So that's why we were trying to show you the different ways where you can actually do this thing. In fact, this is basically what I do. If I'm finding difficulty with only one command and I shout that word, something else should be able to like do it. I use that. So I mean that is basically what this one is trying to say we should do. So and the last one is just okay, output a final file that contains only inputs with p value. So this one you can just probably use it's awk that will do this one. So here what we just do is so we just have to like we said, action first before I think. So this one we just have to like probably specify column. I just probably column 6 and $6. What am I doing? Control. So I wanted to write $6 greater than 0.75. So this is going to be my pattern. And then I'm not sure whether I have to like probably put it. Where did I even? So this should be this minus s. So let's minus s. Yeah, I think it worked. So you just have to like probably specify. But before that, okay, I think I'm okay. Wait. Oh, I made a mistake. It should be less than. Nobody corrected it because we want anything that is statistically significant. So it should be this, and then you have this. So you can see. So it will have filtered out the rows that have the acronym that is greater than 0.05. Just to even confirm, probably I can just even specify this just to see whether this code is working very fine. So let's just specify this. So and then we will expect that we expect to just see one column, right? So that means it's actually good. So our syntax work. Then I can just go ahead and then use column minus t. Just to make everything nicely formatted. And then I can now type this into filtered this, and then I can check ls minus s filtered this. Yeah, so we have our results. But there is a caveat, so you can see that we've actually lost our heading, but because we don't have time, but I say we can actually probably get around that. So we've lost our heading and we don't really want that. So okay, let me just probably quickly show how to yeah, I think we have a lot of time. But so this is actually what we are meant to do. So this is what we are meant to do. You can see maybe filtered, and if you start going down, so everything is nice for myself. But we can still, so that's a way we can actually, because we've lost our heading when we were trying to like check, it was awk that actually lost when it was trying to like do. So by the time awk is doing all of this stuff, so the first line is going to be the header line, and because it's not greater than 20, so it's not even nothing is done. So we just keep that line, and then it assigns 0 to that thing, so we didn't put, so we lost it when we were trying to do this thing. But I say you can actually get around it. So one way you can just get around it is okay. Just create. You can use edge minus one, right? Edge minus one. So just to say okay. So sorted this. So this one will print only this. Then we can redirect this to what I want, which is this. So if you do that, and then you cut this, you can see just have only edge. So what I will just do is I will now rerun this command. Let me just show you. I will rerun this command. So instead of now overwriting it, I will just append And then if I now less like this, you can see with okay, it's because I should have just probably selected, I shouldn't have used this one. But can I see that I have what, although they are not nicely, the headings are, so what I should have done is, oh, so sorry. So here in this head, so I could have just said this. So the column that we want, I can just probably use cut. Head, I can use cut, or I can use orc. $1, $6, $8, $8, just to select the column that I think I need. Let me go ahead with that. Oh. Okay. Okay, this one is for the $1. $1. At source line, $1 is, what is wrong? Sorry, you are still with me. Oh, okay, it should be print. I can print. I can also do this. Yeah, I got it. So print this. Then these are everything that I want, right? So what I can just do is take it to filtered. Command V, filtered. So if I cut filtered, I have this. So what I can just do is now run this and then append. So if I now less minus S filtered, so you can see. So although there is no supposed that this is what for this, this is for this. You can, if you want to probably make it do very well. So there's a way you can do that one also. Probably you have to probably before appending, you can just probably run cut. I say cut colon minus T, then redirect, then less. If you cut filtered this, so you have this. So you can now redirect this, and then if you run this less filtered, so you should have what you want. Less minus S. Why is it not aligning? But this is actually what you are meant to do. So this, do we understand? I think this is where we should stop. So we were able to achieve. So guys.
Yeah, I've done very well today, I guess. I did.
Yes, okay. All right.
Thank you, everyone. Do we have questions for Habib before we round it up? Do we even understand what we have done today?
Please, so you guys have some. Yeah.
Okay. Your group student are already saying my group leader. Get out. We don't have any questions for Habib, so that we can round it off.
Yeah, please, do you have any question?
I don't think anybody has any question. If that is the end of the class, I think I should stop recording now, so we could end it. Thank you, everyone. We can now take our leave. See y'all next week. Thank you, Clement. Thank you, Adiola. The only people that clap for me. Thank you, Boyatito. Thank you, Austin.
All right. So I'll be sending this because basically what I did, so it's similar, but just to probably get your hand dirty as well. So there's a task and assignment. It's actually very similar to what I just did. But the only thing is okay, I mean, just to make you, I mean, it's just working on another column. So we are no longer working with P value or P adjusted. It's just probably something else. So I'm going to send this slide so that I can also have access to the link to get the data set. And then, I mean, you watch this video, then see. So all of these things that we are doing, we can actually probably translate them to a script. Probably in the next class, I might actually want to show you that so that you can now reapply that one also. So the assignment that you did, how you can actually probably go about this with scripts. In fact, probably 5 lines we are done. Just 5 lines because everything you just have to do is pipe everything. It's just piping that is only piping that you need, just 1 line of pipe. And then go back to 1 line or 2 line. I'll write a script of 1 line or 2 line that will actually do all of this thing without, yeah. So, but we actually want to probably take it complex. You are also free to do that. Yeah, so I won't be available throughout next week. Probably Stochuku will be the one to take probably Git if it's available. So throughout next week, I'm not available.
Yeah,
Then probably,
myself.
yes, so probably upper week, visit Unix again. So